Before Ariana hops up, I wanted to share this exercise that I did with Hemali last week, and it's called the essence exercise. And basically, the way it works is oftentimes we think we are a certain way, but the way we appear to those that know us and those that kind of know us is really interesting. So it's really powerful to get those adjectives and those answers from them directly. And so these are the words that basically I took all of like this word bubble map, and the first word was positive because that kind of came across the board. So people view you as this very, very positive individual. The second one, I had this like vibrant / sparkle. So when Ariana, you said the word sparkle, I was like, oh my God, that's the word I used. And so that, again, very much like you bring this sparkle, this vibrancy to whatever room you're in, whether it's virtual or physical, right? So people see that, they see that fun, vibrant person. The third one obviously is comfort, because comfort was used in almost every single person's description. They feel really comfortable around you. And so whether that's them feeling comfortable because you're in the room, or you are just a pillar of comfort, you bring that warmth to any room that you enter. The fourth one was authentically relatable. So like that's where your vulnerable self like really does play a role. And so that's really interesting too. And then the fifth one was sharp. So it's not just about like this emotional and mental energy, but it's also you're sharp, you're driven, you're passionate, you're assertive, you're intuitive, and you're open-minded. Like people are saying that, they're seeing that as well, right? And then the last one is that magnetic leader. And I actually think I might change it to magnetic charisma, because I think that's like literally what it is. So those are your 6 essence words. And that basically is who you embody, and whether or not you see that all the time, that's how other people perceive you. And it's good to remind yourself that when you operate from this place of positive, vibrant, sparkle, comfort, authentically relatable, sharp, and this magnetic charisma, that you cannot fail because you're operating from your identity and your kind of true self. So with how all of this was reflected in Ariana's like kind of description of your human design, you can see that whether or not she explained that to you, that's how you're showing up in the world. Yeah. So this is like another form of that validation. The reason I wanted you to do this exercise right now is because a lot of the limiting beliefs that you were facing last week, or not last week, but that we talked about last week, was you kind of not able to see yourself clearly and letting some of these negative things bog you down from seeing yourself. Right. And so now when you look at like, sometimes other people can see us better than we can see ourselves. And so getting that reflection just allows you to say, no, I am these things. This is how I show up. This is who I am. How do you feel?
That was just really like, everything she was saying was just so reassuring. Like I think like in the back of my mind, or like in my soul, like I've always felt these things, but like there was just no explanation. And I also just felt really crazy for feeling those ways. Like I've like told Vikram so many times, I'm like, I know I'm gonna make it big. I know I'm gonna be like big. I know I'm gonna have a name. I know people are gonna know me. Like I know. And like to the point where I feel like I'm like gonna mentally like break down when I'm saying these things, because I'm like, I don't know how to explain this. It's such a gut feeling. Like it's such a like intuition thing. So it was really nice to hear that, like, okay, this is the truth. I'm not crazy for thinking those things or feeling that way, because it's not like she knew who I was.
Because if you have the clarity on how you're going to do something and what is in alignment versus what is not in alignment, then when it comes to actually taking the next steps on what you're building, then we can make sure to like, it's easy to say yes, no, or a maybe when you actually have everything else in place. Oh, does this align with how I want to live? This is aligned with how I want to build this? No, then it's probably not right. And then there was another exercise that I gave you last week, which was kind of just to bring awareness and journal through. So like, yeah, talk to me about that. Like, how did that go?
So, so there was a lot of mental breakdowns in the last like week or so because of so have I told you about my period problems? I think I have a little
bit, yeah.
So like when I'm going through my period, I just have like extreme like highs and lows. Not so much highs, more so lows. And so like and that's basically what I was going through last week. Was so there was a lot of times where there was a lot of self-doubt, a lot of like, I don't know what I'm doing, I feel broken, I feel scared, I feel confused. I did try to take a step back from it, but I think it's easier to do when I'm more in a mindset where I'm like clear versus like when I'm going through my condition, right? So like I was able to kind of take a step back from it sometimes, but it was also very challenging because there's just a chemical imbalance that I can't really like help sometimes. So I was able to identify it happening, but at the same time, it just kind of like took its own course.
We didn't focus on having you change the emotion.
Yeah.
We just wanted to focus on bringing awareness to it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
this muscle that we're building.
Yeah.
Whatever you're feeling, like let yourself feel it and say, okay, well, I'm glad I know that I feel like this, and I'm glad I know this is not my status quo, but like I'm feeling like this. I think also giving yourself validation that like you are a human experiencing a human experience is
Yeah.
really important, right? So it's just as much as we focus on bringing that awareness to like, yeah, like I'm feeling like this and I'm acknowledging it. Like that's all we're doing. We're not changing this. So you don't have to feel guilty. Remember, it's acknowledge it and celebrate that you acknowledged it. Like I want you to be like cheerleading yourself. I want you to
Yeah, I
champion
definitely
yourself.
didn't do that. It was more so just awareness. Like I just did the awareness part. I definitely wasn't like cheerleading myself through it, which is
And
something.
that's hard because
Yeah,
when you're feeling mopey and you're like bringing awareness, your autopilot wants to be like, oh, you suck. Like, you don't want to be like, oh, yeah, you're awesome. You're going to be like, no, that sounds crazy. And remember, we said that's going to sound fake. Like, when you do it the first time, you're going to feel really uncomfortable because you're like, this is a lie. But
yeah,
it's not a lie. Like, you should celebrate the fact because you know, right? You would tell me that. You would say,
yeah,
I like, you brought awareness to it. Like, be happy. That's great. That's positive. Celebrate it. So I'm here just to do the same. Building a relationship with yourself.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
improving the relationship with yourself.
yeah.
Why is it important to improve your relationship with yourself when it comes to like running a business?
I think it just like will bring me that confidence that I need.
Mhm.
I think it will also just like I'm working with myself all the time. Like I like only working with myself, right? So it's like it's important to have that good relationship. It's kind of like when you don't like your coworker, like why like it just makes you dread going into work. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But I am my own
yeah.
coworker, so like I feel like I should like myself. I like, I should enjoy being in my own company and actually have like some confidence built into myself to
All right.
be able to get there.
Did you hear how you explained that, the words that you used in that sentence?
Good.
Yeah, it's I should like myself. I should enjoy my company. How
Yeah.
can we make that more present so it's not like telling yourself you should do something?
It's so funny that you said that because I was like, as I was saying it, I was like, I felt like I was like catching myself in it too. I was
See,
like,
there's the
what are we
awareness.
talking about? Yeah, I feel like rewording these things is always such a like I feel like I can't always get it.
Just make it present. Get rid of the should. I enjoy my company.
Okay. Yeah.
I enjoy being around myself.
Yeah.
See how versus I should enjoy being
Yeah.
around myself. I
Yeah.
should like myself. I like myself. I love myself. I enjoy my company.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Mhm.
So the fact that you're saying like I need to like myself, I need to love myself, for you it might feel like, oh, I'm not there yet, and that's why I'm saying I need or I should. But
Mhm.
the fact that you are bringing that awareness means that you're already in the process, which means you do love yourself. You are like enjoying your company. You because the awareness itself is part of that. So you
Mhm.
can bring that into the present moment. Because anytime you say I should do something, the act of thinking about it is actually putting that into the present. So
Mhm.
by changing the words to say, I am doing this, even if it doesn't feel like you are taking any physical action,
Yeah.
it then brings it to the present because that thought is still part of that journey.
And it brings an energy with it, I think, right?
Yeah.
It makes it a certain rather than a maybe or like could or like
Yeah.
like it just makes it a like it embodies it, right? Like it is and it makes it your reality. And I feel like it does like make your brain can't differentiate the difference between that, right? It just knows what you're feeling. It just knows what you're
Mhm.
embodying. It just knows what you're telling it. And so I think when you add those like shoulds and maybe and like whatever into it, it's like the doubt that lingers and that's the energy that it attracts versus like you're saying, like if you're embodying it, like you're saying, I do love myself. I enjoy being with myself. Like you're embodying it, and that's the energy you're also bringing to
Yeah.
the table. Yeah.
Right? Like oftentimes if we felt shitty about ourselves, if we felt shitty like about like potentially starting a business or something like that for years, that is the now norm. That is our body's like comfort because that's what they know. So even if it doesn't make us feel good, it is what we know. And our body will prefer something that we know, even if it makes us feel bad, over something that we don't understand that is new, even if it's better for ourselves. And I know, again, this feels like a lot of mindset work over
Yeah.
actual like business building, but it is literally the foundation for you to like be successful. And like my goal with like us working together is not just to help you build a business that you're going to hate 6 months from now. Like I want this to be something that you can continue to enjoy the journey. And as you change as an individual, which you will, because we all continue to change, your business can naturally change with it.
And it is really good part of the process, because I think this is really what's been holding me back more than anything. Like I feel like the business part, like once I have a plan, like I can figure it out and like I can roll with it. But this has just been just the biggest hurdle to come over. Like I just can't,
Mhm.
I can't get out of my head. I really
Yeah.
can't. And so I think this is really helping me step out of that and become more confident and just become more, like, I guess, align with myself.
When push comes to shove, like you will completely shine and you'll throw yourself into the weeds and like get things done. But
Yeah.
it's that like clarity piece
Yeah.
of like, knowing what to focus on, and also just that reflection of, who you are and like how you show up, and not operating from that fear of like that scarcity, whether that scarcity of funds
Yeah.
or that scarcity of validation, or like whatever, or fears of like doing things differently.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the things that kind of keep you in that like bubble of continuing to reach and continuing to search, and then comparing yourself to like what else is existing in the world.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I guess to wrap up, let's like go through like takeaways. So like let's like feel free to recap, and like what are your like 2 to 3 like main takeaways for today?
Yeah, so the whole human design chart, I feel like my one of my main takeaways was really listening to that intuition and
Mhm.
knowing that I don't need to like um dim my light in order to, appease to others if it's too right for them. Like I do need to really believe in that. Or I mean, I already do believe in it. It's just like shutting out those outside voices.
Mhm.
That was very validating to hear. Also knowing to get, I think, the clarity aspect, like I think that was really nice to hear. I think that was a really big takeaway for me, to know that, hey, I really do need to sit down and vision board and write down what I want and like get specific with it. I think a lot of times I've just been very general. And if the more specific I get, the easier it will be for me to kind of figure out my path and how to kind of get to where I want to get to. So really doing some thought, or putting some thought into that, and trying to figure out what the specifics are and like figure out what I want specifically. So I definitely want to work on that, and kind of sit with myself
Mhm.
and maybe meditate on it or something,
Yeah.
and then do some journaling on it. Um, the really building my self confidence, celebrating myself, and just enjoying myself, enjoying my company, enjoying my process, knowing that I am human and being okay with that and coming to terms with that. Um, and yeah, like learning to love myself. I think that's going to be a reoccurring theme throughout a lot of our a lot of our sessions. I can already see it right now, because I do think that's like a hurdle that I kind of need to get over, is the self-doubt.
So, this week's session with Aish and Ariana was probably one of the most validating experiences of my life. I feel like I've always been the black sheep in my family and my friend circle. And my thoughts, the way I do things, it's always been a little bit different than everyone else's. And so, it's always made me feel really alone and confused, and caused me to doubt myself a lot throughout my years, because I'm like, why am I not doing things like everyone else? And so hearing my human design and having Ariana read my chart was just such a validating experience, because it explained so much of why I do things the way I do and how I operate. And then the essence exercise that I did with Aish last week just validated everything even further. So it was just, I don't know, it was a really nice thing to hear and just so reassuring. And then again, having Aish help me figure out things that I need to continue to work on just really helps me stay on track. If you're interested in getting your own human design reading, or getting some business coaching help, I've left both Aisha's and Ariana's Instagram handles below so you guys can connect with them. They are so, so amazing, like worth every single penny. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's vlog. If you did, please do not forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.